This is a real story. It occurred as a dream. However, the events were as vivid as reality. I've always had vivid dreams, many of which I no longer remember, except for this one. I also had issues with sleep paralysis since I was young. My Christian faith has allowed me to ward off instances where I felt something was sitting on me at night while trying to sleep, forcing me not to be able to move. It was a terribly scary feeling. The only way I could get the presence off of me was to call on the name of Jesus in order to set me free. In my dream, it starts with my being aware that I was someplace other than my home. I was suddenly walking along a stone hallway, dimly lit. A younger woman was also walking with me. This hallway led out to what looked like an old Roman Colosseum, completely abandoned. The view was unsettling, to say the least. Where are we? Was all that I could think. The young woman and I approached the opening to a cave. We looked in and saw people were standing in a long line. The only real light in the cave was an orange-reddish tint from what I noticed was a huge fire. A guard instructed the people in line when to move forward. I knew instantly I didn't want to stand in that line, nor did I want to be here at all. I saw 2 picnic-like tables made of stone, and I went and sat at a table farthest from the line. The young woman sat opposite me, crying softly. An overwhelming sense of guilt came from her. I wondered how she ended up here and why. And then my focus shifted because an overwhelming sense of evil came over me. And then he appeared, the devil himself, but not as I imagined him. He was tall, skinny, dressed in black, long black shiny hair with a white shirt. His skin was a light gray, almost cement-colored. His eyes very hypnotic. He came and sat down directly in front of me. The first thing I noticed was his hands. Long, skinny fingers with a grayish tint. Then I managed to look up and right into his eyes. He looked into my soul with a hypnotic gaze, almost snake-like. He had a small cobra-like sway to his body. I knew instantly this was the serpent in the Garden of Eden. Those eyes, I couldn't shake them for weeks. As we continued to sit there, the devil looked deep into my soul, but he knew one thing: I was a child of God, and he could not have me. Indeed, he could see that I was a very strong child of God. I kept envisioning this bright cross seared into my heart. It was glowing and bright white. But again, this cross was glowing within me. So before he could say anything to me with those crazy eyes, I beat him to the punch and said, I am not supposed to be here. He looked at me, still swaying, then said, "Are you sure you don't want to stay?" I replied firmly, "No." He then sat and gazed at me a few moments longer. I could feel what he was thinking of me. I felt the many times I prayed for protection against him. He knew that whatever it was he wanted me to do then and even now, I would not listen. And then the sharp focusing came to an end, and the devil got up and walked into the area that he came from. I panicked because I didn't know what would happen next. Shortly he reappeared with a small black box. The black box reminded me of the old pagers that we had years ago for communication. He gave me the black box and said, "Call Brenda." My first thought was, who's Brenda? I then pressed the button on the box. As soon as I heard someone pick up, I immediately said, "I'm not supposed to be here. He told me to call you so I can leave." A small voice said, "The next opening is in 3 days." I wondered what she meant by the next opening. Did she mean some sort of portal to get me back to the earthly realm? Regardless of what she meant, I knew I would not be staying. And as quickly as I asked the question, I was back at home in my bed. I woke up completely shook. I had not ever had a dream that shook me to my core the way that one did. Why and how did I end up in hell and face to face with the devil himself? Afterwards, I had an overwhelming desire to pray and thank God for his mercy and grace. I'm not sure why I had that experience. Whatever the reason was, I am just thankful I got out of there. I don't know what happened to the young woman who was with me. She seemed to vanish when the devil came out to sit with me. I hope that whatever happened with her, she was able to get back to the living world. However, it seemed very unlikely. Once you enter hell, you don't leave. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more eerie stories. And always remember, faith can overcome any darkness. Stay creepy.